Hello and welcome to Landscape Photography World, the podcast for everyone passionate about landscape photography. I'm Grant Swinburne and I'll be your host on the show, talking to landscape photographers about their motivations, likes and dislikes. This podcast is sponsored by SyncBack Pro, the professional photographer's tool to keep your images safe. How safe are your photographs? Or to put it this way, how would you feel if you permanently lost some or even all of them? The fact is, there are very real risks in storing your digital images on a hard drive, even if they're backed up to an external device. There's ransomware, hardware failure, file corruption, virus infection, and even accidental deletion or destruction. SyncBack Pro makes this problem go away permanently. SyncBack Pro is the professional photographer's tool to back up photographs, images, documents, and data files. Once set up, it keeps your files safe, quietly and reliably in the background. So if problems occur or disaster strikes, you'll have nothing to worry about. Your photographs will be safe. Which is why it's also the backup solution that I use myself for my own photographs. Take advantage of an exclusive 25% discount today by going to www.backup.sg. The software will never expire, meaning your photographs are safe forever. That's www.backup.sg. Give your photographs the protection they deserve. And now, on with the show. Rosie Steggles has been interested in photography practically her whole life. Rosie had a first SLR when she was in high school, but digital photography has allowed her to have more control over how she wants her images to look, and so she can create more of a mood in her shots. She now focuses on her compositional work and creating a story image from scratch. While Rosie loves landscape and travel photography, she's also a very keen explorer of a lot of other genres, for example architecture, surf, etc. But portrait photography scares her the most. We discuss her horror story, how she's developed her multiple exposure style, the hacking of her Instagram and how she got it back, along with a whole lot more. I hope you enjoy the show. Hi Rosie, welcome to Landscape Photography World. How are you going?
Hi Grant, great. Thanks for having me.
Absolute pleasure having you. Been a follower of yours for some time and really taken by some of your shots. Why don't you tell us a bit about yourself and how you got started in photography and in particular landscapes?
Well, I've been photographing since I was in school, I suppose, so a million years ago. Started off with SLR and printing stuff at school during art classes, and just sort of progressed along the way, just doing amateur stuff, really taking photos of the kids at school and things like that. And then when my husband and I sold our business a few years ago, and I jumped into photography because then I felt I had time to do it, time for myself, that I could, learn some new things and explore the whole world of photography.
Right, fantastic. So I guess with landscape photography in particular, why that as opposed to anything else? Or do you do a lot more that I...
Well, I started in landscape photography, obviously, because, there's a lot of beautiful stuff out there to shoot.
Sure.
But since doing that, I have gone into different genres. I like architecture. I like long exposure. I like, astro a little bit. And I've started doing a lot of composite work. During COVID, I spent a lot of time learning things on the internet and, so I've sort of gone down different paths.
Yeah. Take us back, I guess, to the school days and learning the initial learning of the craft and everything. How much of that were you sort of taking in at high school, or were you just casual about it and it just happened? And
well, pretty casual about it. You only had a roll of 24 or 36.
Yep.
You couldn't see the photo that you took until you got it printed. Mm-hmm. It was so limiting. So I love digital. I just love being able to see what I've taken. I love being able to just take as many photos as I feel like. I would never go back to the old way, although my daughter has my old camera and she loves it.
Yeah. I guess, yeah, I mean, I come from a similar sort of time period in terms of photography, and that agonizing wait while you
Very
figure out
agonizing.
whether or not your shots were any good.
Half of them weren't, let me tell you.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Um, what, I guess, is your process for setting yourself a creative challenge? You know, in terms of the creativity, where did it sort of start to become that creative pursuit as opposed to, more documenting life and
Okay, well, I guess
around?
that's exactly it. I sort of thought I've got to do something more for me to get the photo to look the way I want it to look rather than just look like everybody else's.
Sure.
There's so many photographers out there taking photos, and there's amazing photos out there. And I just wanted to find a way of using the photography to create something different and something that I really enjoy. And I've been friends with Mike Langford for a very long time, and his wife is Jackie Rankin, and
Okay.
she does a lot of multiple exposures, and I've done quite a few tours with them and know them pretty well.
Yeah.
And she's always been inspirational to me in that regard. So I've sort of gone down that path a little bit, and then from that gone into composite work as well.
Okay. Talk to me a bit about the multiple exposure stuff. I know not everybody's into that sort of thing, but what was it, that relationship that sort of really sparked that interest in it, or was it just something that
I think
you're
I've
trying to do
always,
something unique?
yeah, I think I've always liked that sort of quirkiness that it gives an image. And it is tricky. Nothing, it works. It's not sort of, oh, I'm taking a shot and I've got this exposure in this setting. It is a bit of a hit and miss kind of thing. And I really enjoy playing around with that and just, being a bit more creative and a bit different.
Sure. How much are you doing in camera versus what you're doing
Oh,
in Photoshop?
yeah, probably 50-50.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
do a bit in camera, but I do like to do it on my computer as well, because I can get things lined up a bit better, because sometimes,
Yeah.
out in the field, things don't line up exactly properly. So
Yeah, particularly if you're going handhelds. Yeah.
yeah. So I do a bit of both.
Yeah. Do you set yourself goals and projects to work on?
Oh, not really. Sometimes, if there's a competition I want to enter, I'll sort of try and do something. But more so, I look at the time of the year, the landscape, the lighting, just different things, and try and capture things when they're happening.
Sure.
If it's a full moon or if it's a brilliant sunrise or something. And then I can use those images in different times. So it's not like I've got to, oh, this is what I'm going to do. It's just sort of a bit more of a flow kind of thing.
Yeah, I get it. So are you planning your shoots, or are you more, I guess, reacting to the landscape as you see it?
A bit of both. I look and see what the sky's going to do in the mornings and things like that. Actually, this morning I went to Collaroy, and I just didn't know what was going to happen. I got
was
there
yesterday, actually.
Oh, well, I should have gone this morning. The pool was getting emptied,
Oh, wow.
and it was a huge swell, and
Yep.
high tide was coming in. Oh, it was just brilliant. And then I got this red sky. And I was just like, yay, I scored today.
Nice.
So,
Well, I definitely got the red sky, but the pool wasn't being emptied. It was over full. I actually went for a swim in it
right.
after my shoot, and it was a little bit hairy, actually. There was one
Yeah,
I actually got almost washed over the wall.
I couldn't believe that. It was crazy there this morning.
Yeah. So I guess in terms of that planning, how much time are you spending in thinking about what it is and conceptualizing the shot before you actually go out and take it?
I don't know, sort of not a lot. A
Okay.
lot of it is just sort of gut instinct and going with the flow, and You know, I've got a trip coming up to New Zealand, and I have been doing a lot of research as to where I'm going to go. But when I get there, it's going to be whatever happens on the day, that's what I get, because, you know, travel photography, that's what it is.
Yeah.
But in saying that,
get to sit there and pick and choose your weather.
Yeah. But in saying that, you know, I sort of know I want to do this sort of thing with the location. You know, if I want to do multiple exposures, I look for where I can do that. And there is a little bit of planning, yeah.
How do you feel when you're out shooting? What's the feeling you get out of it? I'm
like all over the place, because I just want to take everything in. I sort of think, I just want to get everything, and sometimes I miss everything because I'm too focused on getting everything. That's why I like going back to locations. Yeah, because I'll see, okay, next time I go, I'll do this, or next time I go, I'll do that. So I do like going back to locations. Yeah. In terms of mastering your craft, I mean, that's a key element of success in landscape photography, I think. What time do you put into that education process for yourself to understand how your field work and then your processing sort of develops beyond just where everybody starts off at the basics, because that's what you have to do. It's pretty rare that you see somebody pick up a camera and take a masterpiece. Yeah. I guess in terms of that process of learning, what effort are you putting into that yourself? Oh, well, I have put in the last sort of 4 or 5 years a lot of effort in learning how to process images. I sort of always had a bit of an eye, like compositionally, of how to take a photo. Yep. And it has been a steady incline of learning. And, during COVID, I spent a lot of time learning stuff, learning new things, looking at other people's work and, you know, practicing, I suppose, yes. Yeah, cool. In terms of that lifestyle choice, sounds like it was fairly easy for you to make that transition. You sold a business and therefore had the time and spare money, I guess, to be able to do that. Yeah. How do you balance working on your photography with everything else in life, though? I'm lucky I've got a fairly understanding husband, because I do spend a lot of time on photography, and honestly, I could spend more. But it is easy to do because I am sort of retired and I don't have any major commitments, and I feel like I've earned it. Yeah. Are you trying to turn it into a business, or is it just something to, fill the retirement hours? Well, my husband would like me to have a business, but I don't really want the pressure. I just want to go out and enjoy it. And, we because of COVID, we sort of couldn't travel, but we're traveling. Our plan is to travel a lot. And so I don't know that I'd be able to make a business out of it, really, by traveling. Okay. In terms of where, do you find where you live influences what you shoot and how you shoot? Oh, definitely. I live near Manly, so I'm got access to the beach. Really easy. It's really easy to get there. It's really easy to get into town. If I want to go into town, I just catch the ferry. So, I do shoot a lot around the city and around the beaches. But I'm really looking forward to going overseas and, getting some different perspectives. Sure. Have you done much overseas travel in the past? Obviously, the past couple of years is a bit moot, but the past few years. Yeah, we've done it. We've done a lot. Our business was overseas. We went to China a lot, and that we have travelled a lot as a family as well. But now that I can photograph, I have done a few photo tours. I've been to India. I've been to China on a photography tour, been to Kashmir and Ladakh, New Zealand. I just went to Turkey for 3 weeks. And yeah, so every opportunity that I can, I'd like to do a photo tour.
Yeah, great. Do you have a favourite spot overseas and a favourite spot locally, without giving any secrets away?
I really love North Cornwall Pool.
Yeah.
I go there quite a lot. Any of the northern beaches I love. You know, they're great.
Yeah,
overseas,
choice.
Yeah, overseas, I don't know. Put me anywhere, I don't care. I'd be happy. I think I like remote places. I like undiscovered places. I like a lot of minimalist stuff. So yeah, take me anywhere. I don't care.
Sounds great. What's your most memorable photography experience?
I think when I went to Kashmir and Ladakh, it was an incredible place to go. We went up the highest navigable road in the world. We went, to the lake at Srinagar and stayed on houseboats and went out on the little, I forget what they called, those little boats out into the marshes and things. It was just brilliant.
Sounds
landscape. I've been to Antarctica too. That was a phenomenal experience. Yeah, I'd go back.
They're both places that I've not managed to get to yet, and Antarctica is definitely high on the bucket list.
Yeah. I'd love to go back there again, but I don't think I ever will. Of course, it's so expensive.
Yeah, I know. That's the one thing that's sort of making me balk, because there are other places I'd go to first that don't cost quite as much. So.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. In terms of horror stories, have you got any, really challenging shoots that you've had?
I've had a few broken things, including my head.
Oh.
So I was in Italy in 19. Anyway, and I was out on a balcony shooting the moon, and I took a step forward and I fell off the balcony. It was about a 1.5 meter fall, and I had my 100 to 400 on my camera, and I held it up so it didn't get damaged, and I landed on my head.
Oh, no.
So I got taken in an ambulance to a helicopter, taken in a helicopter to the hospital, and I was in the hospital for a bit. I had the neck brace on and bandaged head and everything, but yeah, I won't do that again.
Oh, that's incredible. Aside from not falling off balconies, what have you learned about the world through photography?
I've learned it's just spectacular. There is so much beauty out there. And if everybody just got up for sunrise and just soaked it all in, we'd all be a happier place.
Oh, I don't disagree with you there.
It's just phenomenal.
In terms of your process, you talked a little bit about how you sort of get a little bit all over the place. Are you like that with your editing as well, or is that a completely different sort of side to your process?
Yeah, no, editing, I have a pretty good workflow. I did the Adam Williams Easy Way Photography courses that probably everybody's done or everybody should do. Yep. That changed my life. He's a master. It was just eye-opening what his processes have done. And from his processes, I've been able to learn more and more things. I've got a few people on YouTube that I follow that I learn stuff from. So, yeah, it's just I do have a fairly standard process that I follow,
Yeah, no, that's great. How long would you spend on a shot?
Oh, can be a few seconds to, an hour maybe. Just depends. Some of the sizes get to be, up in the gigabytes, and I've got to go, oh my God. And I've got to, decrease the size and everything because my computer's so old.
Too many layers.
Yeah, too many layers, especially in the compositing sort of work. It just gets up there really quickly.
Yeah, composite editing does suck the resources out of you.
Yeah.
Do you find that's something that relaxes you, or is it something that stresses you out?
Oh no, I love it. It's creating some new image is just, oh, what'll I do here and what'll I do there, and it just takes you off into another land of imagination. So yeah, I really enjoy that.
Fantastic. Do you prefer taking photos with other people or alone?
That's a pretty hard one because I do like doing stuff alone, but I really enjoy it when I'm with a group.
Yeah.
And I've got a really fun group of friends that I've met through the Canon Collective.
Yep.
The Canon Collective used to be run. I met this group of people, and before COVID, we used to go out every Wednesday morning and shoot sunrise somewhere.
Nice.
But since COVID, things have sort of, changed a little bit, and we don't do it as often. But we do, road trips or go away for weekends. So it is nice to do things with other people, especially in the dark, because you're getting up in the crack of darkness, and it can be scary as a woman on her own sometimes.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree there. I've spoken to quite a few female photographers that have said exactly the same thing, and I've got to admit, as a male photographer, it can be a bit sketchy when you're heading out with nothing but a headlamp, your tripod, and a bag of camera.
Well, I always have my tripod at the ready just in case.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not so worried about getting attacked. I'm more worried about getting washed off a rock.
Yes, I've been in hairy places. My husband would kill me.
Yeah, my wife always says to me, "Ring me when you get there, and when you're leaving."
Yeah, I mean, you do
tell me
sort
where
of
you're
put
going,
yourself
so
on
she
that.
knows where to send the coroner.
Oh dear, I know it's scary sometimes.
Yeah. In terms of your social media presence, I've been following you for some time, and I know you had a bit of an incident a little while ago. Do you want to talk to us a little bit about that?
So just before maybe October, I think last year, I was hacked for my main photography account. I've got a few different ones for the different styles of photography I do, but my main Rosie photo account was hacked. And it was quite devastating, really. You just feel very out of control. I couldn't let any of my friends, followers know what was going on.
Yep.
And this person was posting photos saying, oh, I bought a new house and go and get onto Bitcoin and all these silly things.
Yeah, things you wouldn't do.
That I wouldn't do. So, I had all these people contacting me saying, oh, Rosie, you've been hacked and everything. And so it's just awful. And I sent messages to Instagram, and I went on the Instagram and tried to do all the things that they said when your account was hacked, and nothing really worked. But luckily I had a friend that worked for Meta.
Oh, nice. That
helps. And yes, I'm 100% sure that he helped me get my account back, which I did probably 2 months later, but they deleted 2 years of my posts.
Oh, no.
So all the last 2 years, which was probably the best work I've done, just gone.
Yeah.
So that was a bit devastating, but at least I've got my account back, and I'm back in control. So.
Do you have any idea how it was done?
I'm not sure, but the only thing I can think of was I got a message from Instagram, inverted commas, saying, if you want to be a verified account,
yes,
click on this link. And I went, oh, that's nice. And I honestly, that's the only thing I can think of that I've clicked on that link, and it's just taken me over by some stupid Nigerian person.
Well, could be anywhere. Could be
Russian. Well,
it
had. You could see where it said that they were in Nigeria.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Interesting.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so I'm one of the lucky ones, I think, because a lot of people that I spoke to never got their accounts back.
Yeah, I've heard from several people that hacked in the last couple of years, and they've just had either no response at all from Meta or Instagram, at all, or the response has been, "Oh well, so sad, too bad.
Yeah.
Make another account."
I know, and that's basically what you have to do, I suppose, and you lose all that effort that you've made for the last however many years, and it's such a shame.
Well, it's for me. I think I'm less worried personally about my follow account. I'm more worried about the personal contacts that I've made, because I mean, one of the things I do is actually use social media channels to contact people to ask them to be on this show for one. So I've got a whole raft of info there that I'd be devastated if I lost it.
Absolutely. I mean, I've sort of made a lot of friends, Insta friends, I suppose you'd call them, and it's a nice community that I'd built up, and a lot of people, if they unfollowed me, I could get them back, but if they blocked me, then I couldn't see them. So a lot of my closer friends blocked me, and so I've been struggling to try and get them to back into contact, but it's a tricky situation once that happens to you.
Definitely. Yeah, I think it's definitely something that everyone should be aware of, that Instagram, I don't think, will ever contact you and say, hey, I want to make you a verified person. Certainly
I've learned that now.
not by clicking on a link anyway.
No.
They just give you a blue tick and happy days. Well, actually, no. Now they want you to pay for it.
Yes.
Yeah, which I personally won't be doing.
No, me neither. I won't be either.
And if that drives down my engagement, I'm not really going to be overly upset, because there are other social media channels out there that I'm still getting fairly strong engagement from. And
I know, and I mean, I don't really care how many followers I've got. I just like to engage with people. I mean, that's the main part. That's
exactly it.
Yeah.
I guess when did you start your Instagram or your social media journey?
I think probably around 2017.
Yeah, okay.
I think, and then we sold the business just after that, and that's when I sort of got into photography. So that allowed me to have a creative outlet for what I was doing.
Yeah, so it's a fair old time to have lost work and everything.
Yeah, well, it was more a record of what I've done. Too, because it was the journey that I'd been on, and it was all recorded there, so I could at any time go back and have a look at it, and it was just a nice way to store memories almost as well. So it was.
Well, I mean, that's one of the reasons that they purported to start it, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, imagine how many millions and millions of photographs there are out there.
Yeah, I can imagine. What do you do in terms of your work other than posting it on Instagram? Do you print it? Do you do anything else with it?
I sometimes print, rarely. I'm in a photography club. I'm in the Mossman Photography Club. Okay. So there's competitions to enter, and I do enter a few competitions, but mainly just I like to go out and shoot and edit and share. I don't have any real goals other than that.
Yeah. No, that's. I think that's great, because I mean, not everyone does it for their own reasons, and whether it's sharing it with some other person or whether it's trying to make money out of it, I think they're all valid reasons. And from my perspective, if sharing is what you want to do, then it's great.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to print some work and do some big prints. But I've got nowhere to put it we've downsized our house, so we haven't got so many walls anymore, and it's expensive.
It's not cheap to get a good size print.
Yeah. So
have you ever hit a creative wall, and if so, how did you handle it?
Actually, I find it difficult if I've been traveling, and I've gone through all my photos. Like I've just done the Turkey tour, and I've come back and I've gone through all my photos and edited them all and sort of getting them ready for a book maybe, because I like to do a travel book when I come back from a trip. And then I sort of go, oh, now what? I've been in Sydney for the last 3 years just shooting the same thing, and it's like, oh, I've done all that. What am I going to do? And it does take a little while to get the mojo back and
definitely
get back into it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What techniques have you used to try and do that?
Well, probably mainly just look at Instagram and see what other people are doing and think, oh, I should be out there doing that. And so, that sort of inspires you to get back out, and going out and shooting with my friends, that's inspiring too. So, eventually you do get your mojo back and you do go, wow, Sydney's a fantastic place and there's so much to shoot here.
Yeah.
But,
I've definitely never, I don't think I'll ever get tired of it. There's a lot of places that I want to shoot as well, but I still haven't, plumbed the depths to.
Yeah, I think we're very lucky to live here and have so much
totally, yeah.
to shoot.
One of the most photogenic cities, and the number of beaches that are around. You've got mountains not far away.
Where do you like to shoot best?
Me, I'm probably happiest knee deep on a rock shelf somewhere.
Yeah.
Parramatta's definitely a favourite. I go quite a bit. The reason being is that every time you go there, it looks a bit different.
Yes, true.
The amount of sand that shifts around and the rocks, and you have the green on the rocks, the algae that some years disappears for 6 months and then comes back, and so every time I've been there, it's looked a bit different. And
it's a scary place to go to, in the dark.
In the dark,
before the sun rises, because you've got to walk down all those steps and then walk along, and then there's that big cliff, and can be a bit scary.
Yeah, it can be a bit intimidating, particularly in high tide with a big swell running. It can be a bit intimidating if you're not sure about getting out on a rock shelf. I use a pair of neoprene rock boots. I've actually got cleats on the bottom of it, which sort of gives you a bit of extra grip. But it's funny. There's some people that swear by bare feet. So I'm a bit iffy about walking around on rocks in bare feet.
No, I don't like bare feet. I wear an old pair of sand shoes, which probably is hopeless. But I know. I mean, those sort of shoes have been on my list for a very long time. I just haven't bothered to buy any yet. So
for me, it's kind of a must-have, and they're not that expensive. I think the pair I've got cost me like $15, $20 in BCF or somewhere like that.
Yeah, I'll have to do it.
Yeah, just find a fishing shop, and you should be able to pick up a pair.
True. I will. But there's always another lens to buy and another filter to try.
Yeah, well, I was going to come to that. What piece of kit can't you live without?
Oh, I think I've just recently upgraded to the R5, and I was still using all my old lenses, and so I've just recently bought the 24-105.
Yep.
And I'm pretty happy with it. It's pretty good. Yeah,
does the job.
I don't think the weight is any less than my old gear. It's still as heavy as ever. I'm getting weaker. I don't know, but
I think Canon's renowned for putting pretty thick glass in there.
I love it, but it does my back in.
Yeah. What do you see as being the biggest challenge facing photography right now?
Oh, obviously this AI thing.
Yeah. You're a proponent or you're against?
I think it's incredible, but it's got to have its place, and photography's got to have its place.
Yeah.
I don't think people should be putting AI generated images on photography platforms.
In terms of social media, and
unless they say this is AI generated, which most people tend to do, thank goodness. But I think it's an incredible thing that's happened. I mean, wow. But
in terms of generating the images, I think that's amazing. My personal feeling is a lot of, I mean, yes, you have to come up with the concept of what it is that you're trying to create an image from. And yes, you can feed it your own, or depending on the platform you use, you can feed it your own images and have it generate from images that you've trained it on. But if you haven't done that and all you're doing is typing in a few words, you're kind of leaning very heavily on the people that program the AI in the first place. From my perspective. And I don't know how much credit I'd be willing to take to say, hey, look at this amazing image that somebody else made. Because
yes, that's right.
I typed some words.
Yeah. I mean, okay, the concept may be yours, but nothing else is.
Exactly. Yeah, everything. As in, it's kind of like saying, well, Rosie, go and take me a photo of the Matterhorn, please. Here's some money, off you go, And the concept I've got in my head, yes, I can see the Matterhorn and that's what I want. What you come back with is not going to be mine. It's going to be your interpretation.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've shot.
Absolutely.
And to me, it's kind of like that.
I mean, I'm sure it's fun to do. I haven't actually ever used it yet.
I've had a dabble, and it creates some interesting images. I had a play around with it. I think one of the first ones that I did was actually show me something in do a scene in the style of J.M. Turner, the fantastic impressionist painter, and it came back with some Turnerish looking images, whether Turner would have been happy.
But how did you feel? Did you feel like you created that? Or
no, I didn't feel any sense of achievement in it at all, other than, it kind of did what I asked it to do. I wasn't, to be honest, I wasn't overly happy with any of the images.
And I think also, if you're out there taking your landscape photography, you're not just taking a photo, you're experiencing the whole 360-degree the weather and the light and the grass under your feet,
water rushing around your ankles, if you
so it's more than just an image, it's just the whole thing. So getting out there and shooting is a beautiful experience.
In terms of landscape, I don't think it'll ever replace that, and people and their desire to be creative will always be there. In terms of commercial advertising art, I can definitely see, photographers losing a bit of ground there, because a corporate art director instead, or a advertising executive can type in a few words and say, this is exactly what I want. And if it's not exactly what he wants, he'll have another go and hone until he gets what he wants, which, would cost him a lot more if he was charging, getting a photographer to do the work.
Yeah.
So I can see that maybe.
Yeah. Yes. That'll be a whole new ball game for the advertisers, I'm sure.
Definitely. And then there's, I guess, the word and verbiage bit around it. I haven't really played around with that a lot. But I've heard that some photographers are now doing that to sort of come up with captions for their photos. So they're sort of feeding a photo in and getting AI to actually generate a caption.
Oh, really?
Which is...
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one thing that I'm playing around with is speech to text, because I end up with the audio out of these podcasts.
Right.
one of the ideas that I've got to sort of extend things. I haven't really talked about this to anybody, but I've mainly because I've only just sort of started looking at it in the last week. But turning some of these discussions into articles that I could potentially then sell on to magazines and so forth,
Yeah.
using the AI. So I feed it the audio file and it spits out the transcription. I got to say, the attempts that it's made so far, maybe it's my Australian accent and some of my guests' accents that it struggles with, but some of the words that come out are not the words that were said.
Well, yes, you'd have to absolutely check everything.
Oh yeah. I'm not just leaving it to that, but at least I guess if nothing else, it gives you a starting point and a body that you can then trim down and turn into something.
Yes, I mean it does make some tasks a lot quicker. I mean, it saves you having to type it.
Everybody said.
Absolutely, that'd drive you up the wall.
Yeah, particularly with, your episode 86. So, with 86 episodes.
Yay, 86.
Anyway, where do you see the future going? Is it more AI? Is it less AI? Is it people doing their own thing?
Oh, I think there's a place for everything. I mean, the world continues to change and develop, and hopefully AI will fit in and not take over as it does in some of those movies that you see. But yeah, I think people will always be more creative than a machine, and there's so much more emotion in an image that a person can create than a machine can create, as far as I'm concerned, and so much more individuality, I think, by getting photographers to take photos than a machine to create things. So hopefully we'll continue to take photos forever.
Yeah, I for one welcome our robot overlords. But no, I certainly hope that's the case. I don't see, as I say, I don't see people giving up on it and deciding, the images from AI are just so good. I want to go to Japan, or I want to go to Iceland, and I want to experience that place.
Yeah.
I don't just want to type in some words, show me a picture of Vesterhall.
I know. I mean, you don't want to sit at your computer. Sit at your computer and not go out and experience the world.
That's not what I like doing. I like editing, but I like editing because I've been there, because it helps me relive the experience.
Yeah. And so do you make books, or what do you do with your photos?
Well, yeah, I do. I normally make books. Usually if I go overseas, that trip turns into, the higher quality photography that I try to aspire to. I won't say I always succeed, but the better quality stuff, as well as my wife says, it doesn't matter. It's just a snapshot. Put it in the book. So we make those sorts of books, which is a bit of a hybrid. I've got a couple of other books that I do have that are specifically sort of nicer photography, but I've also got a couple of prints floating around, and I am trying to sell prints. I've got them on my website, so grantswinburn.com. Go there if you want to buy a print.
Absolutely.
What's your favourite thing about being a photographer?
I think it's getting out there and being in the moment. No matter what moment it is, there's something really incredible about it. And because when I travel, I do a lot of research about where we're going to go, and I'm dragging my husband here, there, and everywhere. He's not so keen about getting up at the crack of dawn, but even he's impressed with what we've seen since I've been doing photography, because we have explored places that not other people wouldn't go to. At times that is perfect for the scene. So I think that's the thing that I really enjoy the most, is actually getting out there and experiencing amazing places.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
What do you like to do when you're not out shooting?
I don't know. Be with my family, I suppose. I like watching movies. I like reading books. I don't like cooking much.
No? Okay.
No, I'm not a big cook. Yeah.
So is that your husband's purview, or do you
No, neither of us do. I mean, I'm not a bad cook, but I would rather be out photographing than cooking.
Fair enough.
I've got a lot of friends who are very good cooks, and I always feel quite inadequate in that department. But hey, they can't take a photo like I can.
No, well, that's it.
Oh yeah, it's yeah. There's lots to do. There's it just depends on what time it is, and yeah.
Sure. Who are the photographers that I should be talking to on the podcast?
Well, I would definitely recommend Mike Langford and Jackie Rankin.
Yep.
They are great friends of mine, and I think they're fantastic photographers. Ricardo da Cunha, he's a brilliant guy.
Yep.
I think you've spoken to Wanda Craswell. Wanda.
Yeah, I've spoken to Wanda. Yeah.
Sandra Dan.
I haven't had her on. Yeah.
I've done a lot of composite work with her over COVID, and
Right.
she's an amazing artist. And Sue Ellen Sadie Cook, she's another incredible composite artist as well that I've become friends with. And I don't know who else. I think he spoke to Stefan a little while ago. He's great. Timothy and Robin Moon.
No, I haven't got them on the list.
Yeah. So they're members of the Mossman Camera Club, and they're very inspirational. They've had an incredible journey in photography, especially Robin. She's just been down to Antarctic for 2 trips, and she's been over to Canada and Pennsylvania photographing snowy owls and things like that. She's doing amazing stuff. And Timothy's a great photographer as well. So yeah, there's a few people.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that. I've got one question that everyone needs to know the answer to. Do you like pineapple on pizza?
Well, I don't actually choose to have pineapple on pizza, but if it's there, I'm pleasantly surprised.
You're not picking it off?
No, I'm not picking it off. It's a little sweet treat that you get. Yeah, I don't mind it.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to tell me a little bit more about yourself, Rosie. It's been
thanks so much, Grant.
Getting to know you. Where can people find what you do?
Oh, mainly Instagram. I've got my Rosie Photo with an F, ROSIEFOTO. And then I've got Rosie Photo Art, where I do my creative sort of work. Rosie Photo Aqua is where I do a lot of seascapes and water photography. So that's my 3 little accounts.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Rosie.
Okay, thanks so much, Grant.
Pleasure. Thanks again for listening to Landscape Photography World. I hope you enjoyed the show, and keep listening because I'll be joined by some great guests in upcoming episodes. You can find my work in this podcast at grantswinburnphotography.com. I'm also on Vero, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. I'm Grant Swinburne. Hope to see you out shooting soon.